Anin Indidaway Marichat, my name is Winona LaDuke, Vinesique, and Jinakaz Makwando Dam, Gababani Ka, Gesh Kaniganing and Dunjaba, from the White Earth Reservation in northern Minnesota, and I'm Executive Director of Honor the Earth. Yeah, I'm here to support the Local Choice Energy Act, because this is the innovative and visionary piece of legislation that needs to be all across the country. So I came down here, I heard about it, and you know, what I want to see is that in the future that our communities have energy security. I want to see that in the future we don't engage in more environmental destruction for inefficient energy systems. I want to see what justice looks like for water, that we take care of our water and we take care of our future generations. And I want to feel like I don't got to worry about the price of fossil fuels in the future and to have my future shackled to it when it's the end of a fossil fuel economy. This new legislation is the beginning of how we transform energy systems to be energy systems which serve local communities, keep the money and profits in those local communities, keep the cost of energy down, and ensure that there's energy security for New Mexico and for all throughout this territory in the future. I am interested in a future of efficiency and renewables. That's what I call the Indigenous New Green Deal, but that's what we call in our prophecies the eighth fire, the time when we make choices off of a scorched path to a path which is green and a path upon which we can survive. That's renewable energy. And so in my knowledge of these, of this, first you have to change the inefficiencies of the system. We waste 57% of our power between point of origin and point of consumption. Aging power plants that combust inefficiently, massive loss of heat and energy, massive loss of heat through centralized power systems, massive loss of energy. So in the end, what we need is efficiency to start with, because no point making all that additional energy to feed into a grid that's so inefficient. So let's get efficient, and then let's phase out these dinosaurs of power plants, because that's what they are. They're dinosaurs. People say it's going to be a tough transition from the fossil fuels era, or the fossil fuels age, as they call it. But what I like to remind people is that we didn't leave the Stone Age because we ran out of rocks. We move on because it's time to move on and because we're smart. And, no time like the present to live in a society where you don't waste 57% of your energy. No time like the present to take advantage of the technology of the sun, the technology of the wind, both of which are a constant in New Mexico. No time like the present to be visionary for our future. The extractive economy is a dangerous economy. I refer to it as a Wendigo economy, which means a cannibal economy. So if you consistently take more than you need, if you end up where you destroy aquifers, you destroy the source of water, the source of life for community after community, you have widespread, not only groundwater contamination, but contamination of topsoils. That all puts our future at risk. And the fact is that for the past, 100 years, pretty much, the fossil fuel industry has run amok upon our territories. They have secured land, whether it is from the federal government or sometimes from tribal governments, at a pittance of the price, and they have not paid the costs that are associated with either the cleanup or all of the health impacts, and let alone climate change impacts of their profits. Now is the time to begin to change that. What we need is economics that makes sense. What we need is economics that looks for future generations. It's called intergenerational equity, to be truthful. Like where we're sure that my grandchildren and your grandchildren can have some energy security in the future. And what we need is to quit robbing our communities and causing more duress in our communities in times of climate change. For the past 50 years, for my whole lifetime, I'm 60, corporations have failed us, particularly in the energy sector. We have handed over our economy to them. They make decisions, they inform decision making on our public lands, on our air quality, and on the future of our planet. At the same time, corporations are not people. They consider themselves to be natural persons under the law, but in fact, corporations have no soul. To be a person, you have to have a soul. And what we need to do is ensure that power is made by people. Power is made by and for people. And I say that because in the last 50 years of corporate control of our energy systems, what we've seen is that we now have a D in energy infrastructure in this country. They failed us, and you can see that failure with the California wildfires. PG&E's irresponsibility in their infrastructure maintenance has caused massive wildfires and deaths in our communities. So for 50 years, corporations have made decisions that for the benefits of their corporate profits and their bottom line, and not look to our communities. This is the time for a new Green Deal. This is the time when we build an energy economy that makes sense for people, to make sure that there is energy security, that we have microgrids, that we have efficiency, and that a community can build distributive power systems where we can make the power because we have the land and we'll take care of our systems because they are in our home territories. And then we will sell to the grid and share the wealth of our solar power with other communities. Now's the time, and this is the law.